Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Hope you're well. Thank you for joining me again. This is the third and last video of the day. What I wanted to do was cut through some of the wheat and chaff, I suppose you could call it, to do with what Rachel Reeves came out and spoke about earlier on this afternoon with her spring statement, emergency statement, whatever you want to call it. And there was an ample amount of covering of one's derriere all mixed in, wasn't there? Now, much of the language, and I have to say I'm included in this as well, when you talk about budgets and statements and things like that, just goes in one ear and out the other. And one of the big things that, we worry about in this area is that of welfare, help that you get from the state, we will call it. Are you still going to get that same help? Is it going to be cut? What's actually going on? And, trying to cut through some of the fluff. Now, I want to spend a few minutes just going through a couple of slides. And this video is really targeted at those who are in receipt of things like PIP and universal credit and other things like that, to try and make it a little bit easier to understand just some of the key points. And I want to start with this slide here. If I can ask, first of all, before we go much further, if you can hit the thumbs up button on this, because it helps spread information like this around everywhere. And of course, if you haven't, consider subscribing to the channel. It all helps. Well, this is taken straight off the news, and this is a basic list of the welfare changes. And you can see health-related universal credit for new claimants, which was already due to be cut from £97 to £50 a week from April 2026 under measures announced last week, will now not rise with inflation until after 2030. So that measure alone really is horrible, because it's more or less a 50% cut. And the fact it's not going to rise with inflation at all until after 2030, if you walk around all of the shops and everything at the moment and you see the way things are going up, my God, it's going to cause poverty with a lot of people. Under 22s will no longer be able to claim the incapacity benefit top-up. Is that on the basis that they're living at home with mum and dad, or is there some other reason behind it, or trying to force them into work? I don't know, but straight away with the first two there, I'm getting very much a one-size-fits-all approach, don't you think? As outlined last week for existing claimants, health-related payments will be frozen at £97 a week until 2030, with a new top-up payment introduced for those with more severe conditions. Well, it's going to be frozen until 2030, so as prices go up, you're going to be struggling. And a new top-up introduced. How much is that top-up going to cost? Why can't you just, leave it as it is? Am I missing something here? A rise in the £92 per week standard allowance for universal credit has been slightly pared back and will rise to 106 by 2030 instead of 107, so a quid down. You multiply that by a few million people, that's a hell of a saving. And again, 2030, there's supposed to be an election in 2029? So they're pushing this down the road for one thing. And it's causing no end of grief. 5 years of hell. Now, we're going to see a situation, I think, in time where we're going to get to a point where it's going to be, we've got to do something. And is this coming to the realms of UBI? Is that where all this is being pushed? You've got to wonder. There will also be a stricter eligibility test for personal independence payments, PIP, the main disability benefit, from November of next year. Now, this is the main thing that's worrying so many people. I've spoken often about a friend of mine that's waiting at the moment for, news. He has a telephone appointment next month, I think it is, finally, after all these weeks of waiting. We'll have to see how we go. But tougher eligibility for PIP. Let's have a look at these next, shall we? Here we go. Preparing food. Now, all of these are the areas where they test you or assess you. And what happens, you're scored or given an amount of points for each area. And the relevant number of points you get determines whether you qualify for PIP or not. So, preparing food. If you're unable to prepare a meal using an oven but can use a microwave, you'll score 2 points, which will no longer suffice to qualify for a PIP payment on its own. Instead, applicants will need to prove they need supervision or assistance to either prepare or cook a simple meal. So a bit of a change there. Eating and drinking. Under the new rules, needs such as requiring supervision, needing help to cut up food, or having to use an aid to take in nutrition will no longer score highly enough to qualify for PIP. Instead, an individual would have to show they need prompting to be able to take nutrition, or in more severe cases, be unable to convey food or drink to their mouth. So if you can't remember to eat and you can't put it to your mouth, basically, that's it. They're making that more strict. Managing therapy or monitoring a health condition. In terms of managing therapy or monitoring a health condition, to secure 4 points, an individual must demonstrate that they require supervision, prompting, or assistance to manage therapy that takes more than 3.5 hours a week, but no more than 7. Washing and bathing. When it comes to washing and bathing, only 2 points are awarded for needing supervision to wash or bathe on a PIP test, as is the case for needing help to wash hair or body below the waist. Assistance to get in or out of a bath or shower also only earns 3 points. Now, there's a little bit extra to that part. To earn 4 points, an individual must prove that they need assistance to wash their body between the shoulders and waist. So a little bit more there, one would suggest. Here we go. There's some more stuff here. For managing toilet needs or incontinence, needing supervision to use the toilet, which earns 2 points, will no longer qualify a person for PIP on its own. Instead, they must demonstrate that they require, complete assistance, 4 points. Dressing and undressing. Regarding dressing and undressing, a person who needs to be reminded to dress or needs help putting on trousers or a skirt, 2 points, will no longer qualify. Instead, a person must demonstrate that they need help dressing or undressing their upper body. So from the waistline up, really. Communicating verbally. In terms of using a hearing aid, an individual will only earn 2 points under the new guidelines. To achieve 4 points, however, they must show they require communication support to express or understand complex verbal information. Regarding reading abilities, individuals can earn 4 points if they demonstrate the need for prompting to decipher basic written materials or after completely unable to read or comprehend signage. For engaging with others face-to-face, a person requiring prompting scores just 2 points. In contrast, to obtain 4 points, evidence is needed to show they need social support to be able to engage with other people. I mean, a lot of people that have issues around interaction, social interaction, is brought around by things like depression and anxiety, which is naturally part of the situation a lot of people find themselves in. And, it's a very deep, dark hole to end up down. Trust me, I've been there. Now, last one, making budgeting decisions, which is a basic, although daunting household task for people that have problems. As for making budgeting decisions, those needing assistance with intricate budget calculations score 2 points. But now, to hit 4 points, proof is necessary that they need prompting or assistance to be able to make simple decisions. Should individuals discover they're ineligible for PIP under these updated qualifications, the government is contemplating alternative support methods. Now, that bloody gets me every time. Alternative support methods. If you think that by screwing over people, you're going to leave them in a worse position, why are you considering alternative support methods? Why don't you leave the support method in place that already works? Yes, there are people that take the piss. I'm not saying there isn't. Yes, there are people that quite simply shouldn't be on PIP in the first place. But many out there who need this are going to be worried about this and worrying about their own futures after Rachel from accounts did her piece this afternoon, are going to be worried about what's going to happen next. And more people like my friend who I mentioned very regularly are going to need the extra help, both financially, physically, socially, and everything else. I hope with this little video, I've just given a basic breakdown just to get some information out. And remember, you're not alone. If you've got a friend, phone them. If you need help, ask for it. And all the charities and things of that nature out there that can assist you, damn well use them. That's what they're there for. Don't hide away from it, because at the end of the day, they'll win if you do. Well, thank you, everybody, very much for that. Last video of the day, as I said, unless anything else crops up, of course. Please hit the like button on this. Share it with your friends on your socials. Hopefully, it'll be useful to somebody. Subscribe to the channel. And as always, I look forward to talking to you soon. Toodaloo.